All right, so let's go to our routing page. Let's see, here we go. Now, what happens in our app is when I go here and I just go to listing 4200, it really doesn't go anywhere. It sort of has its own thing. What I'd like it to do is be listed. I'd like it to go to my art page where I'm listing all of my items. So the easy way to do that is I'm just going to hit Alt or Shift and Alt and then duplicate that first line. Now, I'm going to go path and I'm going to make this an empty string. And then we'll have we want to redirect to one of the pages or whatever. And we want to leave path match full because we want this to be the exact order. So instead of component here, I'm going to do redirect to, and then we aren't going to an actual component, we're going to a page. So just throw up a set of single quotes and then a forward slash, and then whatever page up here you want it to go to. So I just want it to go to this same art page here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that here, and then I'm going to hit Control S. Now when we jump back in here, you should see if I go back to 4200, when I hit enter, it should just take me to the art page. So regardless, it's always just going to redirect me to that page. So you could do that for whatever page you like. All right, so I'd like to, inside of this Bootstrap site, the getbootstrap.com, I'm just going to do a section to look for like content boxes maybe, or let's see if we have any nice panels or content boxes. Let's look up panel. And these are kind of cool. It says basic example. So these are fine by me. So it says like, these are just a kind of list of groups, class list group. We don't really want that. This is sort of nice. Let's kind of scroll down, see what else we can get. Ooh, this is cool. List.flush group. So I could just copy this class here. Let's see how that looks in our page. And I'm going to jump back here. And what I can do is on my artlistings component.html, I could just paste this in here. List group flush, and let's see how, and let's get rid of this. Let's see, and they actually made a list underneath it. Oops, let me save this and see how that looks on our page. I think we need more content, like it says list group item, which honestly, let's throw that in there too. Let's see how this looks. And then what we're going to use is a for loop to cycle through these. I'm just kind of experimenting right now. And let's wrap the whole thing in another div. So div, and I'm going to steal this last div here and just throw it down here. Now I'm going to hit Control A to select all, then Control K is in Kevin and F is in Francine. I'm going to save that. Let's see how that looks on our page. So there's that. I wonder if we keep, let's see, I'm going to hit hold Shift and Alt and push down arrow and then save that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so we get that line. Okay, let's learn a little bit about how to do for loops in Angular, essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this so we can focus. Now, remember, our code, or I'm sorry, our list is in a page. It's in its own TypeScript file. And what we want to do is sort of list through this whole thing. So I'm going to delete this guy. We want to list through all of this and then just sort of embed that within the page. All right, so let's see how this goes. We have this class listing group item, and let's see how it'll look if we just throw it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do star ng4, and then inside of this, so let's do, hold on a second, let's save that. And then we're going to do ng4 equals, double quotes, and then what we want to do is we're going to say let art listing, I believe. Let me see, what did we name that in our file? So here's our art listings. Yeah, so we're going to let, we'll come up with a variable name. We'll just call it like art list. So let's kind of close this up for a second. So let art list for art listing. I think, let's see, let art list for art listings. Oh, I think it's of, not for. Yeah, and then this might be art listing. Let's see. Oh, okay, so let's go over this quickly. So list group item ng4. So this is what's looping. So we're going to let art list. So we're creating this variable now, and everything from here is going to be looped into this. There is no art listing. I forgot I didn't name it art listing. I named it a listings. So remember, this is what's storing in the entirety of our list into here from the array. So inside of here, we want to plug this value in. I'm going to save that. Now you can see that removed the error. I'm sorry, I just assumed that I named everything sort of a similar thing. And so what this does again is this loops through every element and allows us to essentially spit out the different elements inside this section, which is really just going to be down here. So let's kind of give ourselves a little bit of space here. So inside of here is where we're going to want to print those listings in sort of a list. So let's save that. So what we need is we need something called a router link. And this will route us to a specific URL. And then at that URL, we can embed in sort of like the little data, like the IDs and things like that on our page. So the way to do that is equals quotes. Let's kind of close this up for a second. So where are we trying to pull this data from, right? So we have a router link, and I'm going to do / here. Let's get rid of this for a second. And where I want to go is art. So we're going to pull out that art list / and we want to do kind of like what we talked about before, our data binding. Oops, man, I am in rare form today. There we go. Let's close this up. There we go. Okay, so we want to do a router link, and we could do it to just art, and then so we're going to route our link to the art page, and then after that, what we want to do is we just want to embed in. So for example, what was it? I think it's our we want to do our art list here. So we're going to grab this guy, our artlist.id, because this is what's essentially cycling through our art list. So art list of a listings. Here we go, artlist.id. Let's see what that's doing on our page. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me double check on my page that we are linking everything. There's no errors. Okay, so let's go ahead and now what we'll do is we'll create a header tag. We'll do like a maybe an H1 or something. And then within the H1 tag, maybe that might be too big. Let's do like H2. And within this, what we're going to do is we're going to, so this router link is going to our art page, and it's looking for specific IDs. So this is what's loading in. We're getting all the art list IDs. It's looping through that. In our header here, and I'm just going to hit Control and /. This is where we load the data that we want into the page. And then inside of here, I'm just going to do art list. Or we'll just grab all of this and then change out instead of ID. We're going to do name. So instead of ID here, what's kind of throwing me off is my IntelliSense wasn't necessarily working right, but now it is. And then dash, and then if you're going to do anything with the numerical value, you want to do $, and then this. And then I'm just going to copy this again. Name dot price. If you want to, you can do also like another header tag below it, which is like the description. So I'm going to hit Alt-Shift, close this out. And then you could just do the description here, but really I'd like it as a separate element. Like you click on a button that says description and it feeds it. But just for now, I'll save this out so you could see it. And then when we go back into our page, you could see we have a very happy planet. Cost is $50. You know, we have this little dash separating this Leo versus Robots, also $50. A spelling adventure game for Genius City. So that's pretty good. I mean, I hope that was not too confusing. Just to briefly go over it. So the class is just this list group item, which we pulled from Bootstrap's website just to see how it looks. We haven't done any real styling. We'll get into that stuff later. NG4 is looping through everything. And what this line of code does is just saying let the variable art list of a listing. So this is giving us the ability to loop through everything that's in this a listings here. And if you forgot, you're like, well, where was a listings? In the a listings component TypeScript file. Remember, we stored this in the last video from this array. So this is storing all of those different elements. And then within that, we're going to route the link by the page and then the ID of the item. And we're going to need that, especially since we're going to be clicking on each item and loading them in. So that's it for now. I'm sorry if the page was a little disjointed. I just wanted to rush to get something out to show you, to have for you guys today, and so you could